What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access Entertainment. As always, please hit that subscribe button. It's right down there and it's free. That enables us to keep coming to y'all as often as possible with as many interviews as possible, as many episodes of The Great Debaters as possible, and these first and 15th as possible. So please hit that subscribe button, like our content, share, talk about it, be about it, each one, teach one, and we appreciate your support in getting us this far. A couple other things while you're down there. Make sure you're subscribed, because some people say they subscribed, but then they're unsubscribed. So please make sure you're subscribed. And also you can hit that join button. That helps us behind the scenes in a lot of ways and shows some support for Unique Access, which we tremendously appreciate. And if you are loving what we bring to you here at Unique Access Entertainment, please also make sure when you're done watching this first and 15th episode that you watch one or two more of our videos so that we stay in your algorithm, because we've also heard people saying, oh man, I used to get your feed all the time. Now I'm not getting it. So please subscribe, join, and then watch a video or two to make sure we're posting, because we post pretty much almost every day a video and or a short. Now, today on the 1st and 15th, man, something I'm pretty excited about on many, many levels for many, many reasons. It's a full circle moment, as my boy Dana Dane would say, my good friend Dana Dane. So I got to shout him out for this too. But today's topic at hand. Now, I've had the pleasure and the honor and the privilege of having a personal and professional relationship with Ice-T for more than 20 years now, man. I've been talking to Ice since the late 90s, early 2000s. And every time I talk to this man, he's just a wealth of knowledge. I'm always struck by his insight, his professionalism, his knowledge, his experience, and the things that he's been challenged with in his life and he's had to overcome. And you can check those out in his books, of course. He's got 3, all of which are very interesting and very different, which I highly recommend. But as far as myself, just as a fan of rap and getting into journalism and all the different things that I was doing in my life and my career, of course, I love and respect Ice because of what he did as a gangster rapper. Interviewed him. He gave me a great interview and shouted me out for the History of Gangster Rap book. But then also his getting vilified by the president and vice president over body count. Then he's established himself as now the longest running male actor in television history, which, you know, coming from the reckless early days, break-in, and then going into 6 in the morning, doing all the amazing stuff he did with gangster rap is just amazing. Now, I've been able to go to see him perform several times in different locations over the years. I've got to kick it when he's been out in LA, interviewing him at different places, hanging out with him when he was renting a house, Airbnb type of thing. I've been able to go backstage with him and Jimmy Kimmel, watch him perform there and do all these different things. And he's always been incredibly smart, incredibly nice, incredibly funny, incredibly intelligent, just all these different things. He's charismatic. Everybody always wants to talk to him, say what's up to him. And now I think after all this time, you know, it's an honor to be able to call him a friend. You know, he shouts me out. He responds to stuff when I send it to him. So it's just like, it's amazing to have this relationship that I have with Ice, that I have to this point, and that is continuing and growing, because I've been honored to be selected, and I wrote the liner notes for Ice-T's upcoming album, The Crime Stories, The Legend of Ice-T Crime Stories. And this is a triple album vinyl set. So it's coming out October 6th. I got to write the liner notes, and this is a super expansive project album. It's got 22 tracks, 3 pieces of vinyl, and this is, you know, somebody that's not only a pioneer, but also a cultural icon. So I definitely think it's a must-have for anybody that watches Unique Access, anybody who loves gangster rap, anybody who loves Ice-T, anybody who collects vinyl. Go on and on and on and on. There's so many reasons after reason that you should definitely pick up Ice-T's Crime Stories. It's coming in stores October 6th, and I did the liner notes. So, of course, people that like me and like my writing, they'll also find it interesting. It's on the album art for Crime Stories, and we took edited parts of each of the 22 songs on Crime Stories, and I put that in for the liner notes. But the more extensive thing, Ice and I talked for more than 2 hours about each one of these 22 songs that are featured on Crime Stories, and it spans, in essence, his whole career, but basically from 86 up until today. We're talking 6 in the Morning, That's How I'm Living, The Tower, and some of his more recent songs, including Feds in My Rear View, As a matter of fact, let's get into I'll give you a little sneak preview. A little sneak preview of the video that's going to be dropping when Ice-T and Crime Stories comes out. But this is what we're talking about for That's How I'm Living. As I've gotten to know you over the years, as I've talked to you and talked to George and the different members of the syndicate, when I first was hearing that on the Home Invasion album, I didn't realize how true to life that story that you tell on That's How I'm Living was. And that could be its own audio book for you in a lot of ways.
It's just yeah, it's a biographical story of my life, and it explains, I was born in New Jersey. I said it before, but I guess nobody heard me. And it explains how my parents passed, how I moved to LA. I got bused to a high school, a white high school in Culver City called Palms. Moved over to Crenshaw High School, got connected to the gangs, learned about the gangs, wanted to get into the pimp game. All these different things happened in my life. And it just takes you on a walk through my life, like you said, Soren, to at the end where I've changed my life. I put down the gun, picked up the mic. But, it has a nice catch at the end of the song, which says, don't get it fucked up. Even though I've changed, I'm still Ice-T. And I think the best line on that song, and the cops hate me more now. When I was in the streets, you could just write me off as, hey, they're just a street criminal. But now that I've made it legit, it really bothers them. It really bothers them. So yeah, that's how we open up, with something that's autobiographical. That's how I'm living.
Yeah, and that one in particular, as we'll get to a lot of Crime Stories, the flow on that is very precise, almost like talking. So as you're crafting, as you're coming up with your different flows over the years, with that one in particular, do you remember why you approached it that way?
I think the trick to being a solo rapper for me is never to always rap the same way. Is to, sometimes I'm hype and I'm yelling, sometimes I'm in the cut, I'm low key, sometimes I'm being kind of sarcastic, but that's what would always burn me out with certain rappers, is that I'm listening to the same exact cadence, the same exact thing. So I always made it a point to try to switch cadence, switch style. I think That's How I'm Living is just supposed to sound dead serious. It's supposed to be dead serious versus rapping where you're all around and you're vibing and this, that, and the third. No, this is I was born in New Jersey. It's almost like the video to that song. It's like I'm doing a testimony in an interrogation room. So I'm breaking down who the hell I am.
So yeah, like I was saying, that's just one of the 22 things you're going to get when you watch the video for Ice-T Crime Stories that's going to drop when the album does. There's a QR code on the back of the album, so you can scan that and it'll take you right to the interview. Shout out to George Hinojosa, Ice's manager, that gave us that idea to do that. So that's amazing. Shout out to Chris Schwartz at Rough Nation for putting this out on vinyl and making things happen. But, again, I took the essence of what Ice was saying and put it in these liner notes. And, as an Ice-T fan myself, I know that people are going to love hearing these stories because a lot of these songs Ice has never talked about in much detail or never talked about, to my knowledge, ever in an interview, because these are all his story rhymes. Some of them are album cuts, like Feds in My Rear View. Some are more recent. Some were only released as singles. Some, it's just a wide range of things, but the main thing is they're stories that are relating to all these different things. So that being said, it's a magnificent thing, and Ice also has a lot of nuance in the conversation. So, this is definitely something that you're going to watch. In the meantime, you can pre-order the album. The link is down there. You can catch it in the description. And this is something I would imagine, because they're doing a limited run, this is something that's, I'm sure, or I imagine, is going to sell out. But for anybody that likes vinyl, likes Ice-T, likes story rhymes, definitely get this, because it's a quality piece and it really stages, highlights, and breaks down everything from Ice's career from back in the day all the way up till today. Now, as you guys know from seeing him on Unique Access Entertainment and all the other interviews that Ice has done throughout the years, he's able to crystallize things in these amazing sound bites. And that's why I always enjoy speaking with Ice and why he's a fantastic person to interview. And since I'm fortunate enough to talk to him outside of interviews, just talk to him like that as well. So definitely look at that. And beyond rap, I think it's also worth noting that Ice is one of the most intelligent people I've ever met. You know, he's wide ranging, and he also puts things into a very philosophical lens, which I don't think we get a lot of in our interviews anymore because we're into all these snippets all the time. And that's why I'm excited that this 2-hour plus interview is coming soon with the release of Ice-T Crime Stories in October 2023. So you get that. If you want more of Ice's philosophy, of course, you can go to his Daily Game podcast. Check that out if you haven't already. But the records that appear, like I'm saying, on his Ice-T Crime Stories, they're pretty amazing, man. They've stood the test of time. They've been sampled by dozens of artists throughout the years. 6 in the Morning is probably the most prominent example. But as you go back and listen to these songs, you're going to see like, man, Ice has really, really put it down. I knew a lot of his stuff, but some of the songs you might have forget that are on Return of the Real or on Home Invasion or some of the albums that came later in his career. But this is a great showcase for his storytelling prowess, his storytelling consistency, and something that hasn't diminished, as you'll see with, as we talk about in our interview and in the liner notes for Ice-T Crime Stories, the trilogy that the first release was Feds in My Rear View. So, you know, Ice is definitely among the best who's ever done it. And it's an honor and a privilege to be able to write these liner notes, to be able to speak to Ice as often as I do. And like I said, to have him as a friend. So that being said, definitely pre-order Ice's Crime Stories. It's right down there, the link. Also subscribe while you're down there. Please, please, please join us if you can. And you want to support us in that way as often as possible. We would definitely appreciate that too. I'm Soren Baker. You can follow me on all social media at Soren Baker. And, you know, we just really appreciate you guys coming to us and supporting us here on Unique Access Entertainment. Soren Baker, the 1st and 15th. Thanks for the support, and we'll check you next time.
Hey, what's up? This is Ice-T. I want you to check out my new book, Split Decision, and me and my partner, Spike, on Unique Access with the one and only Soren Baker. Do not play yourself. Watch this.